Hey everyone, let's get in and use some of these cut files and printables that we got in the March Kitaholic Kits. So I'm just measuring how much of the cardstock I need to cover to back this word, summer fun, or words I should say. And I'm going to use a bit of mixed media to have fun. I've just sprayed some water straight onto the page, and then I'm just putting some of these Distress Oxide colours into the little palette that we got in the mixed media kit. So we got the 3 colours in this little palette, which was really very handy. And then just spray a little bit more water, and then what I'm going to do is just tap the paintbrush into the little puddles of water, and then it's just going to disperse the colour around. Didn't have much water there, so you can see it didn't really spill, but that's okay. You can add some more water as you're having a little play. Just having fun, just mixing not really mixing, I just want to put some colour in a few different spots. I really don't want to mix this yellowy orangey colour because it makes green with the blue, but it makes like a yucky green colour, a green tone I guess. So you can see here my paper's warps a little bit as it gets a lot of water on it, but that's okay. You could definitely use watercolour paper or less water or whatever if you wanted, but I'm liking the way it looks just like this. I've dried it, and you can see I've got my flowers here to the left, and there's green, so I'm pulling out some of the green to see what I can make, or not what I can make, how I could add some of the green. This is just some of the dilutions. So you can see, hopefully you can see close enough and get the idea, but I've made flowers here from the exclusive flower printables, and what I've done is fussy cut them obviously, and then layered them all on top of each other so that they're either 2 or 3 in each flower cluster, and that just gives a nice little dimension to each of the colours. So I just added some water to that green dilutions, and then I remembered I had this green Vicky Boudin powder, and so I sort of wanted a colour in between, so I do try to mix it up. I've sprayed some water into that powder and mixing it up, but I didn't muck around with it too much, so it's a bit, it hasn't dissolved properly, so all the powder is still a bit speckled all through it. So I didn't realise till I'm putting it on with the water, but I do end up mopping it up. So you can see here I'm just spraying in little sections and little pockets where I want the green to go, and having a little play where I've mixed those 2 colours together to see if it matches the green flowers a bit better than each individual colour. I'm just having a little play to see if I can rub in those powders, because it was frustrating me that I didn't notice it before, but then I can now. I have a little play, and then I decide, no, I'm not going to dry it. I'm going to use the baby wipe and mop up the colour, and then I'm going to go in with that dilution green colour. I think it's Mushy Peas. So you can see I've watered it down, and I'm just going literally over the spots where it was just painted in the green before I mopped it up, and just a little bit extra around the edges where I feel fit. But it looks really nice, this mixture of colour. Bit of water there just to make the green go a bit further, but it's really just fun experiment. There's no right or wrong with this kind of mixed media experimentation, because it's just wherever the water runs and wherever the colour goes and the tones that it makes. It's just a lot of fun. So finished putting on some green in a few different sections, and I've just spent a bit of time drying it, and then what I'm going to do is use some wet glue to stick on the cut file pieces. That then is going to be the backing for it. So it's just backing it like pattern paper, but because I use the mixed media, it makes it really fun in terms of the colours that are behind it. It's like making your own pattern paper. So I'm just using some pattern paper towel to push it down so that I don't get glue stuck on my fingers. Fussy cutting out each of these, and then I will use a scalpel to cut out any of those inner pieces that don't need to be part of the word, part of the letters. So you can see I'm cutting just under the edge of the letters, under the cut file. so that the paper's not sticking out and making it worse. Well, not worse, but making it overlap the cut file. So just using my scalpel here to take out the pieces. Not very good at using the scalpel, actually. Lucky I'm not a surgeon. So I'm just going to use an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, cardstock, and I'm just going to back it on that white 12 by 12 just so that you can see it, because obviously I've got a black mat. So just cutting down these 2 photos of my children out in one of the nature reserves near home, well, kind of near home, that we went to. And because it just looks so nice, I asked to get a photo, and back then it was much easier to get a photo of the children. They look like they're probably like 3 and 5, maybe 2 and 4, about that age. Nah, I reckon 3 and 5. Looking at Oliver, who's that one in my hand, the one with the stripes. But yeah, anyway, I use my guillotine to cut it, and then I still don't get it the way I want it. So use my scissors. I don't know why I don't just use my scissors more often, but that's okay. We get there in at the end. So just going to cut down those edges, make sure it has that white border so that it sticks out. Oh, that's why, because my border wasn't even. Then I thought maybe I don't want it. So then I glue it back on cardstock so that I can have a white border, which is a bit crazy, but that's okay. Ta-da! Into the future, and we have it all done. So I figure this is where I'm going to roughly lay the title and my photos. I'm liking that placement, and then I'm just having to think about what it could look like in terms of the flowers hanging around. I really like how the title and the flowers and the photo just pop off that black cardstock. It really looks like just the perfect complement to all the colours. Makes it just stand out as much as possible. So I'm just using some double-sided tape to stick down the title. I haven't actually stuck it down. I'm just trying to have a look at where I roughly want it. But I will go back and glue it all down, and then glue down my, what are they, photos. And then I'm going to get stuck on gluing down all these flowers so that they can go where they need to go. So on it goes, fast forward, and ta-da! So you can see just even that title with all that mixed media background, how much it pops so nicely off the photo. It just really is really nice. So on we go. I'm going to get out my wet glue, and I'm literally just going to stick them all down. I don't stick any up on any fun foam because they already have some texture and dimension, but I do stick some on top of the title, some of the letters, so they are up on a little bit. So just having a little play, not mucking around too much, but just trying not to get colours sitting next to each other. On they go. So you can see there's a few different sizes. So I'm just going to cut that one so I can tuck it in underneath, and then I'm just going to tuck that one underneath the title up there as well, in between the words, so that you can definitely see and cover up that space, and it is like it's sitting nestled in a bunch of the flowers. Just going around down here, keep checking, lifting it up to see how it looks, and then I'm going to work on up here onto the left to see how it all comes together. But these exclusive printables are part of being a subscriber of the Kitaholic Kits. So when you join up, you don't only get your monthly kit sent out to you, but you also get some exclusive cut files that you can use to cut some designs and make into layouts. But you also get these printables that are made each month to go along with the kit. So this March kit, we got these beautiful flowers, which I printed multiple times so that I could fussy cut and then layer them up this way. On they go. Just having a little play to see if I want flowers to go all the way around, but I don't like it up the top. It's just way too much. But again, I'm going to cut some in half to see and have a little play in between the words so that I can have some more colour going around and have them nestled in rather than just sitting beside it and around it. And just seeing what else, using as many flowers as I can without being overwhelming, but I don't want a whole bunch of flowers left either. They're not hard to add to a layout because they are really, really cute, these little daisies. So if you want to see this, but also any other things, either me putting these flowers together as was shared on Instagram on the weekend that I made all these flowers and in this layout. So if you want to follow me over on Instagram at LaurenWK, then you can definitely check out things like this and other things that I share. Usually on the weekend I get a fair chunk of scrapbooking time, but sometimes during the week, depending on how crazy work has been, I'll do some little snippets and shares and whatnot. And I've just gotten into Insta stories, which is a bit lame because it's, everyone else has been into it and had it going well and truly for a long time now. You can see here, still having a play with trying to get some up the top, and it's really not necessary. It covers up too much of the black and just takes away from the whole layout design. So instead, just another little one here, a few more left, and then I'm going to call it a day with the flowers. Otherwise, we're going to be here forever, putting them on, putting them off, having a play. Does it go here? No. And I'm sure the more I do it, the more I could convince myself that the flowers need to be on there. But that's not true at all. So just having a play, trying to get it under the double-sided foam tape, under that letter R. And all that trouble, and it didn't even need to be there. Oh, yes, it did need to be there. Back it goes. Isn't it funny how much you wrestle and you don't even know? So I just pulled out one of my paint pens, a really fine one, and putting it on there, a bit came out harder there at the end, or a bit more flowed out, I guess. And again, must have been the way I was probably holding the pen, I'd say. User error. But I go around all the edges instead. I don't like it. I do wipe up some of the edges, and then what I do is make a doodly border by making it twice, having it a doubled up border, just to see if it worked better. But I didn't like it, so I started wiping it off, or just at least wiping off the main part that was really bulky and gross. And instead I'm going to work on a couple of embellishment clusters, not too much because you can see a lot is going on. And then I remembered that I fussy cut all these little leaf fronds, so I definitely want to add them. So you can see here, got that camera that I haven't fussy cut out, but I've just roughly fussy cut so that I could have it in my stash. Not my stash, my kit, ready to use. So 2 seconds later, just have it cut. And if you want some help for fussy cutting, my tip is, well, it's not just mine, everyone, lots of people know about it and say it, but you just add that little bit of white border around it because it's more forgiving, and if you cut right on the edge of the colour, you can see your imperfections. But if you use the white as the border, then you don't get to see those imperfections. It's really, really cool, actually. Someone commented on the Facebook about these flowers all being perfectly fussy cut, but it's not at all. If you look really closely, you can see it's just because I've added that white border that it is hard to see when they're all together. It's like a little magic trick for your eyes. So adding down all these leaf fronds, they're really cute. In fact, I needed one for one of the last layouts that I made when I was killing a kit, and I was like, oh, I had just the normal leaves, but I was like, oh, maybe do I want some of these? I wish I hadn't used them all. But it's okay, it worked without these leaf fronds on the next layout. So I go back in with my paint pen. This one's more of a medium brush pen, so that made it just go on really smoothly, and it just makes the layout. You can see the difference it makes by putting that border on. It's it's just amazing, actually. So I've just got the 2 little clusters going on. I've got 2 photos and then 2 clusters, one here with the camera and a word, and then I'm just adding some of these love hearts, and then up the top I've got that circle love heart, and again with the enamel hearts, just some little sprinkly pieces. Just gone to the right there to look at my really useful box to see if there's anything else that I want. And then what I do is I see my mixed media box that I pull out of items out of my stash, and in my prep video each month I show you what I pull out of my mixed media goodness to add to the kits. And then so I've used these little stickles to make some covering over the yellow in the middle. Well, not covering because it's translucent, but putting some of these glitter stickles in the middle of each one just to add a little pop of colour. Ta-da! You can't even see. But you can see I'm holding the stickles, so that makes a bit more sense. And then I'm going to have a little play with some white acrylic paint and a little bit of water. And I'm just going to put some ink splatters everywhere. Well, I guess pretty much everywhere, but not everywhere at the same time, if that makes sense. So just making sure I get some in between each of the words. And there's my layout. Just clean up that white acrylic paint and we're done. So hopefully you have enjoyed the video today and it's inspired you to make something. In fact, I lifted myself straight away by making another mixed media page and cutting back in a cut file, and you'll be able to see that one in my killer kit video. Anyway, have a great day guys. Catch you next time. Bye.